Oh, I suppose you think I'm happy this morning. I am completely beside myself, actually, contemplating the possibilities. I am, of course, jubilant in the victory and excited from my personal point of view. I got what I wanted, but now you know what? We can move forward and hopefully also bring about a time of world peace. Yeah, that sounds like I'm vying for some beauty crown someplace, but truthfully, I that's one of the key points of why I was hoping for this victory. And I hope that Trump does what we think he can do with regard to world peace. Anyway, the markets seem to agree with me. The Dow up 1,200 last time I checked. The Russell up at 1.6%. Last time I checked, I think it was around 4%. Tesla up around $30 a share, although it's falling. Anyway, we'll talk about all that in a few more minutes, but the markets are jubilant this morning as well. I suspect that means they think there's good days ahead in the economy. Anyway, where to begin? For me, well, after Trump and Vance, those two were the biggest winners, but the next biggest individual winner in this contest was clearly Elon Musk. Corporately, Tesla, X, and SpaceX are right at the top of the winner pool because they're all going to benefit in a big way from this victory, I expect. Now, it's very sad to see some sore losers out there and also some sore winners. But I guess that's just human nature, and we'll just have to deal with that as the day progresses. It was pretty much impossible to find any specific news about Tesla or any news about anything else other than the election this morning. But that didn't slow me down because I have a lot to say. I'm focused on the future, and I think the future is amazing. And I'm going to try my best to give you, my loyal followers here on YouTube, a unique perspective of what's going to be taking place, what just took place, what is going to be taking place. Let me know in the comments below what you think about some of these ideas. First of all, obviously, the markets are telling us that the economy is going to be amazing in the months ahead. I've been saying for weeks that this didn't matter. It didn't matter that much between the two. Most of the pundits and analysts were saying the same thing. But I do think that it's better long term, specifically for Trump to have won as far as the economy is concerned. Number two, Elon Musk is going to be celebrated for this victory, and it's going to show up in car sales in the United States. I'm not sure it'll show up in a week or in a month, but when Juniper and the Generation 2.5 hit, the Republicans will join the revolution. Count on it. They're more in tune now with Elon Musk, and there's more to it than even the cars. Elon has shared his vision for autonomous cars, for robots, for Mars, with hundreds of thousands of attendees at the rallies where he spoke, and hundreds of thousands more, maybe even millions and millions more who watched those rallies on X or on video someplace. And then there was millions and millions more who watched him on Joe Rogan. And his message is getting out there about how the future might look with autonomous cars, with robots, and as we attempt to get to Mars. Getting that vision out there is very, very important in terms of, again, a great world, a prosperous future, but specifically for you and me with regard to Tesla. If Elon's companies were already the number one goal for top engineers previous to this election cycle, that has only increased with this exposure. Well, here's some more specifics. The polling folks were huge losers again. Rasmussen was close. There was a couple of others that were close, but most of them were way off and nobody called it. They will need to find a new way to poll that actually gets Republicans correctly. Not sure how that's going to work because apparently Republicans don't listen, don't answer. They don't respond to the pollsters. And if they do respond to the pollsters, sometimes they lie on purpose because they can't stand the mainstream media at this point. Number two, we need to be careful about thinking this was a complete acceptance of the Trump agenda. His charisma, his humor, his clear messaging, is the biggest reason for the win. That's true, 100% sure. But I'm not 100% sure he could have done it without Elon's ground game. So there's going to be a reckoning for the Republicans to recognize. They set up a ground game in advance. They did a phenomenal job of this, of getting the lawyers in place way ahead of time, getting the poll watchers in place 100%. All that was done ahead of time so that, and watching the media and keeping the media accountable through X. Thank you, Elon, for that. And those things impacted this race. It really, really did. It kept the Democrats from being able to steal it by election interference and by using any kind of nefarious means that they might have had in mind. Maybe there was no problems at the polls in 2020, but it sure looked like there was. Anyway, and again, my personal opinion on that is I didn't see anything in the vote tallies, the methods of voting, et cetera, that showed me that was an absolute certainty that there was a stolen election based on the voting. Rather, the stolen election was based on the activity that took place before the voting, including, for instance, the famous laptop. Anyway, number 3, Trump will hit the ground running. But anyway, it's a lesson. It's a lesson learned. And all the work that Elon did with regard to getting the vote out, getting registrations, all that kind of stuff. This is where the Democrats have been winning in the past. The Republicans now actually have a higher percentage of the population than the Democrats with regard to people that are registered Republican. And now it's a matter of getting the folks to the polls. We've learned a lot, and that's one of the biggest reasons we won the popular vote for the first time since Bush 2004. Number 3, Trump will hit the ground running with probably the best team ever assembled to get the job done. Vivek and just, you know the list. I'm not going to go down it. They will now have 2 years to prove themselves before potentially losing the House. They're only going to have the House by a few votes. And you know what usually happens in the out year? Usually the in party loses the House. But if it's powerful enough, if we do enough work between now and then, it is possible that we could keep the House for the entire 4 years. That would be a huge, massive victory, something we should be working on from day one. The Senate is a lock for the entire 4 years. There is not a mathematical way for the Democrats to take over the Senate 2 years from now. Number 4, there needs to be a national rule regarding autonomous cars, an actual law. I was thinking about this was keeping me awake last night. I will try to craft such a law later today and provide it sometime today or tomorrow. Anyway, I think it's a simple thing. It's a simple law. I'll bring that, but yeah, we need Congress to actually pass a law so that NISTA, even under Trump, maybe he throws all of the NISTA people out and brings in new ones. However it works, we need Congress to have a law so it's very, very clear what companies have to do in order to have autonomous vehicles out there. I know that sounds so un-Republican. A regulation? Yes, but yeah, we're talking about, like a drug or like food. I mean, it's, people die. So yes, a regulation, very smart. Very, very easy, straightforward, not some gobbledygook from lawyers, Anyway, number 5, I hope that Elon convinces Trump to do a strategic analysis of what we need to be making and doing in this country with regard to the strategic needs economically and militarily. I know that this is one of my hobby horses, but it's a top-down idea where you look at things strategically, and the top needs that I'm looking at are energy independence. I think we have need a 10-year plan or even a 5-year plan for massive solar and nuclear, getting us up to where there's just no way that we don't have plenty of energy, that we are the leader in terms of energy per population by a lot, and that there's no way that we're ever going to be unseated from that we will never have to depend on anybody else again for energy in any way, shape, or form. I'm assuming that ANWR will be open on day one of the Trump administration, but I'm not, as much as I think it's great that we, get oil and natural gas resources going to make sure we have plenty of energy. The real key is going to be solar and nuclear. And then we need chip fabs, more chip fabs. I don't think that we should use So much of the government money, pushing getting the chip fabs in, the method that was used by Biden. I think it would be better to go the other direction, and that would be to use the tariffs to make it possible for the chip fabs to be successful here. We need absolute dominance in drones. This should be another 5-year plan where we will be so far and away the leader in drones that there's no second place. We need domestic supply of rare earth metals. That should be done on an emergency level action, taking all barriers out of the way to be able to mine and refine those rare earths here in the United States. There's probably others. What would you add to that list? Number 6, Trump has once in a super opportunity to use the bully pulpit to unify America, to set a positive agenda, to get folks focused on the huge depopulation threat, and to finish the Abraham Accords. Those are my top 4 when it comes to social, if you want social policy. Get rid of DEI, ESG, all the rest of those kind of things. Get people thinking about one nation again. Get people stopping to consider race as part of the consideration of anything. Get merit to be the top of the list in terms of how we do things. Make sure that we're incorporating and encouraging people of all groups, every single group, every tribe is included as part of the fun. And then the depopulation threat, we need to deal with that. We need to talk about how families, how there is a future. There's a great future out there, but there's no future without people, as Elon has been saying. And then finish the Abraham Accords. I sure hope he brings in Jared to get that done. All right, this is Randy Kirk. I know I'm excited this morning. So I have much more to say about what I think is going to happen, but I'll unveil it during the day today, tomorrow, whatever. As time progresses, I'll unveil more of what I saw, because there's a lot more I have to say on this. I don't know if Scott's going to be joining me later this morning. If not, I will use that as one opportunity to bring you more of the analysis of what just took place and what it means for the future. I'm pretty darn sure that Bradford Ferguson will be with me tonight. He should be pretty excited about what just took place. Okay, then let me get out of the way after that whole thing where I'm giving my speech. Let me see what somebody else had to say about this. And let's take a look at Barron's. Tesla stock soared Wednesday with Republican nominee Donald Trump winning the U.S. presidential election. A Trump victory will very likely mean less support for electric vehicles. Nah, that's not going to happen. Not with Elon will be right in there. It's not going to be less support for electric vehicles. Although I will tell you, every other stock except for Tesla in the auto business is down this morning. It also means more work for already incredibly busy Tesla, SpaceX, X, and XAI CEO Elon Musk. Slower U.S. EV sales and management distraction or potential overhangs on shares of the EV makers. However, investors are focused on the positive. I don't think the distraction is going to be an issue at all. Not worried about it for a minute. Tesla stock, that's me. Tesla stock jumped 14.3% to 287. Actually, it hit 290 this morning. Last time I checked, it's back down around 280. That's okay. I'll take 280, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. Anyway, the biggest pre-market winner of all the stocks of the S&P 500 futures for the benchmark index were up 2.3. That would be the S&P was up 2.3%. The move added about $120 billion to Tesla's stock market value, pushing it above $900 billion for the first time since July of 2023, according to FactSet. The initial surge in Tesla stock came with Trump, of course, winning the election. The Associated Press called the key swing states of North Carolina, Georgia, and Pennsylvania in his favor. It's going to be more than that. Alaska, probably Arizona, Nevada, etc. Anyway, the AP called the race shortly before 6 a.m. Eastern time and declared Trump the winner in Wisconsin. In the victory speech, Trump singled out Musk, a key campaign ally, for praise. Quote, "Let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born. Elon, Trump said. He added that he'd been amazed by SpaceX mid-air rocket catch last month and claimed the space technology company's Starlink space-based Wi-Fi service had saved a lot of lives when North Carolina was hit by Hurricane Helene in late September. Musk is a character, he says. He's a special guy. He's a super genius. We have to protect our geniuses and we don't have that many of them, Trump said. Musk and Trump have also discussed a position for Musk in a second Trump administration, with Musk looking at ways to reduce government waste and inefficiency. Musk doesn't need more to do. He runs several companies, and Tesla investors typically hate it when he takes on a new task. Tesla stock was north of 328 when Musk tweeted he had made an offer for then Twitter, which is X now, of course. Shares had tanked because of that. Not because of that. There was so many more other things going on. Investors, however, are used to Musk's multitasking now. I think they're finally getting it. He can handle it. Musk has also has been very engaged at Tesla this year, with the company set to launch a new lower price model and self-driving robotaxi business in 2025, not to mention Juniper, energy storage, robot Optimus. Where's Optimus in that story? The threat of distraction also needs to be balanced against benefits from Tesla from a second term, according to Wedbush analyst Dan Ives. He says he thinks the Tesla shares could be boosted from $40 to $50. I assume that would be from the 450 level, so 490. Well, we already know his target has been 300. So getting to 300 just based on the Trump victory. So I think Dan Ives is going to have to raise his estimate by about 20 or 30 points. Trump is likely to reduce or eliminate EV purchase tax credits. I don't think so. A headwind for all EV makers. Ives, however, said that Tesla has the scale to be profitable without those tax credits. Elon has said he doesn't care about the tax credits, but I don't think the IRA will be completely unwound. We'll see. With the Republicans taking both houses and kind of a negative, kind of the base feeling like the IRA was not a good idea, maybe it will completely go away. We'll see. A second Trump term likely means reduced regulations. Yay, which benefits likely means it definitely means reduced regulations, which benefit the nascent robotaxi business. Regulatory approaches are key to getting that business off the ground. Approvals, it should say, regulatory approvals are key to getting that business off the ground. Small caps today, that's the end of that article. Small caps are benefiting more than tech right now. The Dow is benefiting more than the NASDAQ. The implication would be that Main Street and manufacturing will benefit from Trump more than tech. I think tech will do just fine, though the tech leaders are now out of step with the new DC. And their allies there in DC are probably going to be looking for work. One of the things I was thinking this morning is that you should probably short your property ownership in the DC area, because I don't think there's going to be as many people working there as there is now. And so Main Street and manufacturing more than tech, but I think like I said, tech is going to do just fine. The future is in these Mag 7 stocks, even Mag 8. Lilly should be in there. There's probably a couple more that should be in there. Anyway, I've got a couple of other ideas on that, but let's go ahead. First of all, take into consideration with regard to the markets today, this is a knee-jerk reaction that we've had. Things blew way up there, and they're going to sell off. People are going to grab some profits out of that. Day traders are having a field day right now. Maybe not the short sellers. So we have, where are we now? All right, well, you know what? The Dow has now, after selling off, has actually gone the other way. Right after I say that, you see, it's up 3.3% now. NASDAQ up 2.44, S&P up 2.12. Now Tesla's big, again, gain up over 290 is now at 281.03, but that's still up 11.77% for the day. I'll take that every single day. Let's see. I'm 100% sure then that the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all in new territory. They have hit all-time highs, I'm quite sure. So the Magnificent Seven all up except for Meta, which is just barely down. It was down a lot, but it has now recovered and going up nicely now. All of the Mag 7, 2.98, 2%, 2.7. Yeah, so Google's up 3.75. So the Mag 7 are doing just fine this morning. It's just that the Russell is doing a lot better. The Cathie Woods are mostly up and nicely. ARK is up 5%, of course, with all those holdings in Tesla, but they sold off so much in the last 2 weeks. I just don't understand why anyway, what do I know? I can't figure it out. Square up big time, 6.51. Yeah, so a lot of winners this morning in the stock market. And again, I think personally, I think Tesla will maybe pick back up to that 290 level, maybe even go higher. We might touch on 300 even today, but there could be a lot of up and down in getting there. And maybe it isn't today. Maybe it's later this week. Fed, of course, tomorrow could impact everything. And speaking of the Fed, how about those bonds? Oh, yeah. 15.4 base. Oops, that's the 7-year. 10-year, 16.1 basis points to 4.45. Actually, 4.449, but it's so much easier to say 4.45. Okay, so that's just crazy. Personally, yeah, I mean, it's possible. Again, these are historically normal. This is an historically normal rate. It's not crazy. And if you add 1.5 onto that, your mortgage is at 6%. That's normal. 6.1, 6.2. I think mortgages are going to settle around 6%. They might be a little under, a little over 6%. That's a normal rate. And if the economy is going to boom, I'm not sure these interest rates are going to go down a lot. Anyway, that's where we are. But what's really happening, which is very super interesting, the 2-year is only up 8 basis points. The 3-month is only up 0.5 basis point, and the 2-month is down 0.3 of a basis point. So you now have the inversion almost there. It's only 10, 20 basis, 30 basis points away. But I don't think it's going to be signaling a recession. I think it might signal the fact that we have been in a recession, or at least, in a negative, flat to negative period. But I don't think recession is where we are going forward. And certainly the market isn't suggesting such. All right. So although Elon, of course, has said, but I don't think this could be any part of this analysis. Elon says, well, we're going to have some hard times because of all these cuts we're going to do in government. And that could, we could have a couple of months of negative GDP because of it. But I think it's out there. It's, May, June, July of next year at the earliest. All right, let's go ahead and look at the oil. Of course, oil, you can guess the response. Oil is down. It's not down as much as I think it should be, but oil is down. Yeah, just 5 cents. Actually, at this point, it was down more. And Brent is down 26 cents, but both we're still looking at 71.92 for Texas Intermediate, 75.24 for Brent. Natural gas is actually up this morning, $1.57. That would put it at $2.71. That now has to be weather related. People are making some guesses about the weather this winter. Gold down $74. Down to $2,675. So folks are apparently saying we do not need to hedge. We're no longer needing to hedge in gold. Silver down 4.33% to 31.34. Copper down 4.6% to 4.27. Wow. Okay. The dollar hitting all-time highs. Well, it's the highest it's been this year. Against pretty much the whole basket of currencies. We have got Bitcoin up 4,638 at 74,000. I think it's very close to an all-time high. It was over 75,000 at one point, which was an all-time high, but is now, I think, back down a little, maybe just to under an all-time high. Now, the Bitcoin right now, I don't think is a flight to safety. I think it is. I think it's a confirmation of America, of the world heading towards a new stratagem, a new approach, and that's going to include Bitcoin, and that at least apparently we have Trump on board with it. Now, I'm not a big fan one way or the other of Bitcoin, but I think that's what it's saying. We have got the Dow up 1379 at this point, 3.25%. Okay, let's go back one last time. Take a look at Tesla. It is flattening out around 280, 281. We'll see how it progresses the rest of the day. I will take this win if we end the day at 280. I think you will too. Hey, remember now, I will be back. Whatever happens at noon today, if it's Scott, it'll be because he's got exciting and fun things to talk about in robotics and Optimus and the whole thing. If Scott's not there, I promise you an amazing show with regard to more items on my list of what we learned over the last 24 hours and what it means going forward. The future is amazing, and I am going to be very excited to be a part of chronicling that future as I have for the past 2 years or so with Elon Musk and Tesla. And then I just got a note from Bradford Ferguson. Apparently, he is definitely on board for tonight. So we will be seeing Bradford later this evening. Let me just double check that before I say, yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, that's what's going to happen tonight. I think I should let you go because I need to get this thing posted. It has been great. Great, amazing, absolutely incredible talking to you.